Hello everyone, I'm Kristina Zbinden, and for my project I chose to examine the computational complexity behind the game Sokoban. And the primary article I studied for this was called PSPACE-Completeness of Sliding Block Puzzles and Other Problems Through the Nondeterministic Constraint Logic Model of Computation. And that actually applies directly to Sokoban, but I learned that Robert Hearn, one of the authors, he went on about a year later to publish his doctoral thesis on games, puzzles, and computation, where he discussed a lot of overlapping material but in greater detail, so I used that as well. So what is Sokoban? Imagine a warehouse where the floor is a grid and it has tiles and you're a worker. And in Japanese, the game was created in Japan. In Japanese, Sokoban means warehouse keeper. And you need to push the boxes into designated places. And so you can't pull the boxes. You can only get behind them, push them one at a time. So if you accidentally push a box into a corner or somewhere where you can't move it, then you automatically lose. The game gets more complex as there start to be walls on the game board, like limiting your movements, or there's other objects in the way. There's other boxes that you can move or that you can't move, or bricks, and so on. It gets more complicated as the levels go up. So this is traditionally a one-player game. It's you against the computer. And it seems like fairly straightforward, but I played through it for around 15 rounds, and it actually gets pretty challenging, and it requires, a lot of strategic thinking and planning ahead. So I thought it was pretty fun. I'm going to include a link to a free online game of it in the YouTube caption. So what time complexity is Sokoban in? In the 2005 paper, Hearn and Demaine showed in their article that it's p-space complete. And they concluded that because A, you can always solve Sokoman using a polynomial amount of memory. So you can just keep track of where everything is currently on the board. You don't have to compute every possibility like with some of the games that we've been studying. And B, it's just as hard as any other game that's in p-space. So if you find a way to solve this game, you could use that to solve any p-space game. And a question we were asked to answer is whether the game is X-hard or X-complete. So we know it's p-space, and we can also conclude that it's p-space complete because by definition, it is as hard as all the other problems in p-space, and it's also in the category of p-space. So if it was only the same level of difficulty but not technically in that category, it would just be p-space hard. So looking online, I actually found a number of different researchers had various answers for where Sokoban can be reduced from, but our friends Hearn and Demaine concluded that it's reduced from the model NCL, or Nondeterministic Constraint Logic. So NCL can be thought of as a logic puzzle that uses graphs with nodes and edges and inflows that mimic circuits. And it's a universal model for a lot of tough games that are p-space complete. And the gadgets used in Sokoban. Gadgets are game layouts that enforce specific logic, and a few of them that are used in this game is and is employed when the player can only move forward if both required boxes, they're already moved into place. So it's essentially an and encoding logic where two statements have to be true. And in the diagram that I've included on the right, in the top left figure, you can see the and setup where both the A and the B blocks have to be moved to get the blank block over to the other side. It also uses OR, and OR is used when one or the other path needs to be open for the player to proceed. And it uses a crossover gadget, which is a little more complex. It's when two paths can cross over each other without interfering. And that's illustrated on the bottom figure on the right there, where a number of moves can be taken and the player can still complete the round. And another sort of complex gadget is the one-way, which enforces the direction of a path. It's sort of like the flow of logic in a computer program. And these are all like abstract ideas in computer science that we're probably familiar with from coding, but seeing them used here is a good way to visualize them and see them played out in real time. So I hope you found this interesting like I did. I'd never played this game before, and I found it really fun to see how hard it was in practice and then learn about the complexity behind it. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you feel like playing the game yourselves.